right, welcome to Fantasy Nuts. My name's Luke Evans. This is where we get a little nuts over fantasy football. This is going to be my week 4 running back rankings list for DFS, and for those of you that need a little bit of reassurance on your redraft leagues. So hey, let's get into this. If you guys like it, leave a thumbs up, comment below, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you. Anyways, yeah, let's start this off, man. I got number 1. I think Derrick Henry is going to be my number 1 this week. He's going against the Jets. Tannehill hasn't looked that great, so I think it's going to be the Henry show. Go to number 2. I got Najee Harris against Green Bay. Green Bay's D is nothing great. It's middle of the pack. If Deontay's missing time, if Juju's going to stay hurt, we don't know, I guess, yet. These are all going to play roles, but I think Najee's going to be heavily used again like he was last week. Najee Harris, number 2. I got Aaron Jones versus Pit at number 3. I think it's just a good play. Pitt's been not that great either at D as we thought they were going to be. Dalvin Cook against Cleveland. I think that's a good matchup. You're going to love Dalvin Cook when he comes back, as long as he comes back. He looks like he is. Alvin Kamra versus the Giants. I think that's going to be Giants have looked actually pretty decent D-wise. They're not going to stop Alvin Kamra that well, I don't think. Joe Mixon versus the Jacksonville Jags. I think Joe Mixon's going to run all over the Jags. That's just going to happen. Burrow doesn't look bad. I think they're going to throw a few. I think Chase will have one. If Higgins is in, he'll probably have one. I love that whole team almost right now. Austin Eckler versus the Raiders. The Raiders' D is kind of stout a little bit, but I think that's one way to beat them is passing running backs like Eckler. I think that's going to be a good play this week. Gibson versus Atlanta. That's going to be a cakewalk match for Gibson. I think Gibson has a big game against Atlanta. Sanders versus KC. Another reason KC just their D it's not the best. If it is, it's in the secondary with Matthews. So I would definitely play Sanders this week. He's been looking better, I think, and more involved. I got James Robinson at number 10 versus Cincinnati. I think he'll do better this week. I know he's kind of struggled, but he'll have his weeks. Trust me. David Montgomery had a bad week last week also, but he's got Detroit this week, even though Detroit hasn't looked too slouchy. I think David Montgomery has a pretty decent game at number 11. All right, at number 12, I kind of did this. I like it because of the names, but I also did it because I believe it. Nick Chubb versus Minnesota and Chubba Hubbard versus Dallas. Nick Chubb's a beast, obviously. You love playing Nick Chubb. He's going to run all over people. He's got some of the best yards after contact. He's got some of the best yards from scrimmage. He's really, really good. Chubba Hubbard's going to be involved. If McCaffrey is completely out, Chuba's going to be that guy up, that next man up. And he'll be good. He showed that he can take that role and do something with it. So I think he'll be top 12. He'll be a starting running back this week. Ezekiel Elliott versus Carolina. I just think Carolina's a little stout, but that's why I have Elliott a little low, I feel like maybe. But I think and Elliott has shown that he can start slow. So, I think Elliott will still be good. Top 13 versus Carolina. Chris Carson versus San Francisco. I'm sure he probably runs one in. I like Carson's against San Francisco this week. 15, I got DeAndre Swift versus Chicago. DeAndre Swift, man, he's kind of shown to be matchup proof almost, in my opinion. Because he can catch it, he can run it, and that they're kind of using him all over the field. I think he's such a Swiss Army knife that you can play him, even against that stout Chicago D. Saquon Barkley, another one I'm a little worried about versus that D, that New Orleans D stout. They've got one of the best running Ds right now against running backs in the league. So I hope Barkley can kind of muster up that same energy he had for week 3 and do the same thing. Myles Gaskins versus Indiana. That's a decent play, I think. He's He's a lone wolf there for the most part. He's going to get the targets. I think you play Myles Gaskins. I think the same things with Mike Davis here. You're going to play him against Washington here about 17 at 17. Mike Davis he's not the best in my opinion, but he's getting touches. He is the lead running back there. Coredell Patterson, I feel like we'll see what happens. If that happens. I have Coredell on one of my teams, so I hope that happens. I hope he takes him over as the number one. That'd be awesome. But for right now, it's Mike Davis show. You play Mike Davis. 18, I got Derrell Henderson versus Arizona. Arizona's D, in and out. It can show to be stout, but it's not usually in the run game. So Henderson should have an okay day, I think. Johnathon Taylor versus Miami. I have CEH kind of that same B spot there. 19A and 19B. So Taylor versus Miami and CEH versus Philly. Let's just say Taylor has his flashes and has his moments, and I think he could probably do something against Miami, and I hope he rips one off. I'd like to see him do that. CEH versus Philly. Philly's game's more in the secondary in their D, so I would expect CEH possibly to have a decent game again this week. Could happen. Kareem Hunt versus Minnesota at number 20. Kareem Hunt is obviously a beast. This is like a two-headed monster there with Chubb and him. I wish I had him almost with Chubb side by side sometimes, just so nobody else could use Hunt against me. But Hunt versus Minnesota, you're going to play him. He's probably you never know which one's going to get more points. One game it could be Chubb, one game it could be Hunt. So I think you can feel safe about starting Hunt and your top two running backs. At 21, I got Chase Edmonds versus Chargers. Chargers D is pretty stout, so watch out. But he's used, so if he gets his opportunities and he gets near the goal line, we'll see how it happens. You've heard me say their best running back there is Kyler Murray, and that's true. So I don't really like Chase Edmonds too much, but I got him at 21. I got Jamal Williams at 22 versus Chicago. Jamal Williams is shown to be used in that game plan. They give him his targets, and he's been doing some stuff with it here and there. So I like what I see from Jamal Williams. I think he has, he's probably going to have a bad game against Chicago, and the one that has a good game is going to be Swift. So I don't know if I love Walt Williams this week, but he's at 22. So if you need him, you got him there. Eli Mitchell is who I got there at 23 versus Seattle. So I think Eli Mitchell, if he plays, is going to be the play to play there. I like that play. He's going to get the volume. You like San Francisco's running game. At 24, I got Cordell Patterson versus Washington. We just talked about Mike Davis, Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson's been doing the most with his touches. Kind of like Cordell Patterson. I think if you keep playing Cordell. Cordell's should be in most people's starting lineups, I think, right now. J.D. McKissic versus Atlanta, 25. I like J.D. I think that's a decent play, especially versus Atlanta. Atlanta's a weak defense, so they're probably going to use their running backs way more. Tyson Williams versus Denver. Good defense. Hard to play Williams. What happened last week, but if you need a running back, I guess you plug in Williams because that's what you got. 27, you got Kenyan Drake versus LA Chargers. Yeah, I think you could play Drake if you need to. I guess again, it's one of those things. It depends on what you need, what's available, who you have, who you've lost. At 28, I got Jevonte Williams with versus Baltimore. Baltimore's D is still looking good, even though how many players they've lost. It doesn't matter how many players they lose. They still just next man up. They're showing that they can play like that. But I like Jevonte Williams still in that backfield with Gordon, and and I think that they do an okay job being a two-headed monster. At 29, I got Leonard Fournett versus New England. I think he's gonna, be the lead back there. He's the guy that they're trusting now, it looks like. And at 30, I got Melvin Gordon versus Baltimore. All right, that wraps up the end of my episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I'm going to have my list posted below. I know I went through it quick, kind of, so might have been hard to keep up, but it will be posted below in the description. So if you have any questions, just look below. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. I'm going to keep trying to put out better content. Until I can get that graphic up on the screen, I'm going to be putting this stuff down below in the description, obviously. So I will be working on trying to get screen graphics up here, and hopefully I can do that in the next few weeks. So, all right, guys, stay fantasy nuts, and have a good day.